Okay. Good evening. I assume, as usual, you can hear my voice and see my screen clearly. So, if you are not facing any difficulties of hearing my voice and listening to me and seeing my screen, you can complain right now. Otherwise, you can let me know if everything goes okay. How is that? How things are going? Okay, or need to improve? What about the audibility and visibility? Hello, can you hear me? Still, I didn't get any response from your side.
Yes, audible and visible.
Okay. Continue. So we have started this developing this what we call the family tree, or what we call the simple prolog program to represent the knowledge relevant to this what we call the family. As I directed you, as I told you, so you can simply replace your own names, your parents' name, your brother's name, your sister's names, your grandparents' name, and today we will introduce your in-laws. So you can put the actual names, real names of your family members instead of these relationships, that these hypothetical names. Uh, if you are Tamil guy, so you can substitute the corresponding Tamil names. But remember, you can't use the what we call the capital letters, so uppercase letters as the first letter of the names of these people. And if you are expecting some tricky answers, so what we call see all the relationships, even the unseen relationships for the naked eye, human eye. So you need to specify each and every required or necessary knowledge. For an example, if you forget to mention the gender of a person, or what we call the actual relationship between, at least with one another person who is in the program, then program will be unable to provide you exact what we call the accurate answers. Therefore, if something is missing, you know the theory in computing, garbage in, garbage out. So if you feed garbage, you will end up with the output will be in form of garbage, will consist of garbage. That means inappropriate, inaccurate results will be produced. Here also, we started defining, rather than defining simple rules. This is, for example, this is the first rule we have introduced to our program. So the inverse of this child relationship, x is a child of y. Then you can invert the relationship. That means you can write a rule. The parent is the inverse of that. Means if x becomes the child of y, then y becomes the parent. So that's rule one. So accordingly, you can introduce more complicated rules. For an example, the mother relationship. That means x is the mother of y. Two conditions or requirements need to be satisfied. First condition is x need to be a parent of y. So x is the person going to be the mother. So x from one hand, x need to be a parent of y, and she must be the x who is claiming to be a mother, must be a female person. That means, in other terms, x mother is nothing but a female parent. So accordingly, we continued son. So x is gonna be the person who is going to be the son in this scenario. So what is the qualification to become a son? So from one hand, x must be a child. X must be a child of the same person y, and x must be a male person. That means, in other terms, from different words, So who is a son? Son is a male child of the family. So sister, here we have to satisfy 3 rules. Actually 3 means this is the same rule. That means sister xy, that means sister is the person who is x is the person who is going to be the sister of y. That means x is the sister. So what is the requirement? X and y should share a common parent, z. Z or p o capital a, whatever you can denote what we call an uppercase. You can use an uppercase letter to denote it's a variable. It's a variable. So requirement is z, that means the common parent of x and y. Means the parent, same parent z is being shared among x and y. That is how they become sisters or sister and brother. That's all. This y can be another female person. That means a sister of x. Okay, x is a sister of y, then y can be sister of x, but it's not always. But always x becomes sister of y, then that means y can be either a sister or brother. So x, we don't know about y. Y can be male or female. Anyhow, x, gender of x is, x must be female. That means you can write the other way. That means you can instead of using what we call this parent relationship, so you can write it using a different manner. So I will separate. So you can use a child relationship. So sister, so x is a child. X is a child of some parent, and y also a child of the same parent, capital P. Okay, that means both x and y are children of the same parent, capital P. And here again x is a female person. You can use either ways. That means this way or this way, whatever the preferred or the favorite pattern that you follow, you can. So this is somewhat the alternative routine. So this is not a standard manner of denoting the alternative routing. So this is my own manner. Okay, just we put the ALT in brackets, and otherwise you will get confused if you use these colons and semicolons. Those will have meaning for the compiler, no? So this is somewhat alternative way of doing defining the same rule, same relationship here. So brother is the here only the gender only differs. So so here also I have already explained you this one, so no. So yes, last week also I have explained you this one. And husband and wife relationship. Wife W is going to be the wife of H. So the inverse of husband, that means wife with the inverse, that means that these W and H characters will be interchanged, and H must be a male person and W or wife must be a female person. So in America, USA like countries, sometimes this wife can be a male person, or husband can be a female person. That's a different scenario, no? According to our culture, this is Eastern culture. So a husband is gonna be a male person, and a wife is gonna be a female person, all the ways. So you can use this way, or there are some other ways to define. That means we consider only the gender, we check only the gender of wife. So better to check both. So I suggest you, this is not a hard and fast rule. everything is up to the programmer, so the programmer can follow his own style. So for an example, somebody can say, so how can you say that X is the child of Y? So can't we interpret that Y is the child of X? Okay, if you are willing to do so, willing to accept to follow that pattern, doesn't matter. But remember, when you are specifying denoting the storing the knowledge or representing the knowledge, you need to follow the correct order. That's all. Otherwise what will happen if you follow a different pattern for rules and different pattern for knowledge representation, then you end up with a somewhat a clash. That means somewhat a contradiction, or what we call the repercussion, or what we call the conflict. Okay, so avoid that one. Follow. There's no hard and fast rule that you should follow the same style or pattern that I have been following. This is my own style. You can define your own style, or can adopt it to a different style if you like. So then spouse. So now I'm going to define the term, define this function spouse, and going to this is generalized case, the spouse, and from general to specific. So the spouse wife is gonna be a female spouse. So apparently it seems to be a better version, better way of defining the rules. So spouse is spouse, that means with regardless of the gender. That means a spouse can be either husband or wife. Okay. So X is gonna be the spouse of Y. That means X can be either male or female. X can be wife or husband. Y is the other person. Okay. So in this case, this is not that much perfect way of defining a rule. So here I have what I have defined is the requirement to become that means the eligibility requirement. So the qualifications that X has to play the role of Y spouse. That means I have defined X is a parent of a child C, and Y is also a parent of the same child. That means X and Y are sharing the same child. There is one way of defining the Prolog rules, but you can sense, you can recognize, so you can detect what's wrong with this statement. Apparently, it seems to be okay for most cases. That means if X and Y are husband and wife, that means a couple. In most cases, they must have at least one common or shared child, the same child. But the thing is, there can be situations this couple, a specific couple, may not have children. For an example, I am myself and my wife, we still don't have children, so we are married. So in that case, if you are checking this condition, what we call for childless parents, childless what we call couples will not be tracked, will not be recognized according to this way, this form of what we call rule defining. So so if you follow this manner, so very easily you can define the husband relationship. So the husband relationship is nothing but husband according to this scenario. So this is the if then else case. Again, you can copy this. So this husband is gonna be a spouse for W or wife, and this person husband is gonna be a male person. Okay, gonna be a male person. So you can use the child relationship in other way. So in that case, in cases that these some spouses, some people, some individuals, although they are married and they still don't have children. In that case, this kind of definition or role definition would be appropriate. Okay. This would be appropriate, but spouse, for defining the spouse, I don't instantly see any other good relationship. We keep that for a while. Okay. And today I'm going to introduce, we are going to introduce more complicated relationships, somewhat like in-laws. So what is in-laws? Who are in-laws? In-laws means what? These are not blood relations. So these in-laws means they are not related with you the blood. That means they are not from the same pedigree or what we call from same ancestors. But they are bound, or they establish a relationship after the marriage. That means that is why in-laws, married. That means maybe you are having a boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe you are living together, but if you are not married legally, it is not considered that you have in-laws. Or in-laws means, for an example, brother-in-law. Brother-in-law means maybe your wife's brother or your husband's brother. Brother-in-law. Sister-in-law means either your wife's sister or husband's sister. So mother-in-law. Mother-in-law means your wife's mother or your husband's mother. So father-in-law means your wife's father or husband's father. So like that. So here we are going to introduce these in-laws. Okay. So what is a condition to become an in-law? In-law. In-law means there should be three people. Three people means let's say in my case I have a brother-in-law. Brother-in-law means my wife's brother. Okay. So what is our relationship? There should be three parties contributing or involving in this to build this relationship. So I myself is there who is claiming I have a brother-in-law, and my wife becomes an intermediate person to bridge the relationship of mine and my brother-in-laws. And at the other end, my brother-in-law is there. So let's try to define bro in. Don't put LOW. That is so the low means that is low sugar and low pressure or something. LAW means the that means the legal thing. Okay, bro-in-law. Okay, colon semicolon colon dash. That means if then else, then what? Then what? Bro-in-law. Of course, we need to have parameters. At least two people must be there. It would be, let's put X and Y. Both are gonna be brother-in-laws. No, I am brother-in-law for him, and he's brother-in-law for myself, for me. We can't use this B or any other symbol, so we better keep it as it is, X and Y. So X is gonna be the brother-in-law of Y. One thing you can easily understand, easily you can put his brother-in-law, since it is his brother-in-law, this X person. So definitely what? X must be a male person. Gender of the X is clear because brother-in-law means he's a brother-in-law, whatever the relationship is, he's a brother, so he must be a male person. So if you cannot build, or if you are confused, or if you cannot complete your the construction of the rule at your examination point of view, so if you can recognize something, and if you can tell something at least regarding him, something like this, at least do it. Okay, write that fact, mention that. Then I can give some at least partial marks. So in examination point of view, sometimes if you are lacking, if there's a shortage of few marks for your minimum threshold, that is the cutoff mark that you have to obtain. So we will consider these partial marks and some incomplete sentences and other. If there's a keyword, or if there are keywords, so then definitely we will offer marks. So although it is not grammatically correct, or there are so many spelling mistakes, never mind. We will always willing to offer you marks, especially in case of you are about to get failed. So we will define the other relations. So already there are two people, X and Y. So this Y can be either a male person or female person. So if this Y is the husband of the married couple, Y is the husband of the married couple. For an example, say is Y. Okay, Y is the husband of some person, W. Then what is the relationship between this W and X? So Y, okay, Y is the husband of the married couple. So X is an outsider, but the relationship between X and Y they are brother-in-laws. So say Y is the husband of a person called Y, W. So was a person called W, wife. Okay. So what is the relationship between this this W and X? W and X, how they are related? How they are related? That means they must be brothers and sisters. They must be brothers and sisters. Okay. So you can use this one or this one. Okay. I take this one, sister. Okay. Then Y is the husband of W. Then this W must be the sister of whose? X. Okay, sister of X. Sister of X. So X is a male person, and X has a sister. Her name is W. She is W. W is married to Y. W is married to Y. Or we put capital B and H here. B is going to be the brother-in-law. H is going to be the husband of W. And again here, the brother. Okay, brother and sister, brother of W. Okay. Or here you can put sister. If you put sister S here, capital S, you have to replace capital W with what? Capital S. It's inappropriate here. If you put S here, that means S is the wife of husband. It's okay, but better to keep that relationship. So this is how you can define the brother-in-law relationship. Is that the only way of defining the brother-in-law? So that is one scenario. That means Y, W and H and W are married, and Y has W has a brother. W is a female person, of course, since she's a sister. Then B, or the brother-in-law, is going to be a male person. So there can be some other way. For an example, the inverse relationship of this. That means this the person capital B can be a married person. Okay, can be a married person, and what? Then what? Can be the married person, and again what? Married person, and his wife's, this married person's wife's brother may be the brother-in-law. So that is the same relationship we have already explained. Okay, we have already defined, therefore we are not bothering about the order. So there can be another scenario, brother-in-law. How it is possible? Brother-in-law can be for wife. So again, brother-in-law, we take brother-in-law. This time it can be the husband's brother. This can be the husband's brother. So this time W. So the relationship between the W, who is a female person, and B, capital B, who is going to be the brother-in-law of W. This time, again, this can be wife or spouse. You can use either wife, spouse, or even the husband relationship valid. Wife of W married to husband. The third person involving. Okay. Okay, then what? Then this person B is going to be the brother of the person husband, OH. Then again, person B, brother-in-law, must be a male person. So accordingly, you can write the sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, how? What is the requirement? Just change the gender. We take this one. Okay. Say sis-in-law, SIS. State Intelligence Service, SIS. SIS in-law. Here we put S. First scenario, she can be sister-in-law of H. This time, this sister-in-law, is the husband's sister. Okay, sister-in-law, husband, sister, husband and wife are there. Here, sister. Okay, is that correct? Husband's sister-in-law. So husband's sister-in-law means she must be the wife's sister of wife's sister. Okay. Husband's sister-in-law. Husband's sister-in-law means husband and wife are there. and S is the sister of wife, and S is a what? Female person. So you can adopt once you write the statement or the rule for the brother-in-law. You can easily convert that into. You can easily extend that into the sister-in-law relationship. Okay, and so we'll additional comma is there. It's not necessary. And more relationships. So you can define mother-in-law. Okay, mother-in-law. Mother-in-law. So what is the requirement to become a mother-in-law? Mother-in-law of say M, then in-law, that means the other person should be a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law. Okay, let's say some person. Okay, X. Okay, that means M is going to be the mother-in-law of X. That means X can be either the son-in-law of M or what? Daughter-in-law of M. So let's write the scenario for the. So X becomes the son-in-law. That means X mother-in-law is M. We write for that scenario. That means you can use either child or parent relationship. So I'll take the parent relationship. You can use the child relationship if you like. Parent. So M is becoming a parent of, let's say I use S to denote son-in-law. Okay. So in this case, M is the parent, or if you have mother relationship already defined. If you have mother, mother, then we don't need to check the gender of the parent. So mother, it's already there. We have defined. So M is the mother of D. D means her daughter. Okay. Since mother relationships automatically already checks the gender of M, we don't need to check the gender of this M or mother-in-law. Otherwise, if you use a child-parent like relationship, definitely you have to check the gender of the M or mother-in-law. Then is that the only requirement? M is the son-in-law and the mother-in-law's relationship. So the D or the daughter of M comes middle. That means becomes the intermediate relationship. Who is bridging, who is helping to establish the bridge between these in-law relations. Then what is the other condition? What is the other condition? Still we didn't use the term S son. Then what? They must be husband and wife. Okay. So I take this relationship. So the person S must be the husband of D. The husband of D. D means here the daughter of M. Daughter of M. Okay. M becomes the mother for D. That means D is the daughter. So this time D or the daughter of this M becomes the wife of S. That means S becomes the, if we take W, we take W, then it is clear. W, wife From one hand, D becomes this daughter of M. From the other hand, D becomes the wife of S. Okay. Now I think you have an idea how to define these in-law relationships. So we'll try to run this and check the what we call the check whether we have matching answers. So we first of all we have to compile this. I forgot how to compile. So as I remember, something like this. Then I have to copy the file path. Copy path name. Paste. Yes, true. That is compiled. Okay. Maybe for Windows users, it's not necessary to compile. So there can be there are so many warnings. Warnings means incomplete knowledge we have compiled for perfect reasoning. Which means there can be some missing necessary information as well as there can be some conflicts. That means, for an example, here are multiple statements specifying the spouse relationship. Okay. So first of all, I check the. So I think we couldn't test the son relationship. First of all, we test that ny Kasun, Rani, Sanuka Kasun, Shehani, that works. Okay, there are 3 existing couples and brother x and y. X equals y, x equals y, y equals Kasun. That means Kasun becomes a brother to himself. And again, Shanuka becomes a brother to himself. That means Kasun and Shanuka must be brothers. Shanuka and Sanuki. Shanuka and Sanuki. That's all. Is that all? No, sorry. Kasun becomes a brother to himself, and Sanuka becomes a brother to himself, to Sanuka himself, and Shanuka and Sanuki are brothers and sisters, where Sanuka is the brother, and again Shanuka appears himself as a brother. And Shanuka again, there can be multiple instances, that means multiple occurrences, multiple matching scenarios to denote the same knowledge. Then we have to check these spouse. Let's check x and y. So this can be a symmetric relationship. That means Rani becomes a spouse for herself. So we can later improve this program to avoid this kind of nonsense. Okay. Otherwise, since this is a somewhat a symmetric relationship, that means both spouses have reserved same rights. That means they don't have a unique gender, and they maintain kind of a symmetric or similar ranking. That's why it is being misinterpreted. So Kasun becomes a husband or the spouse for himself, and Kasun and Shehani are husband and wife. One time Kasun becomes the husband and Shehani becomes the wife, and Shehani Kasun, so it is swapped now. That means one time Kasun becomes the spouse of Shehani, other time Shehani becomes a spouse, the spouse for Kasun, and Shehani becomes a spouse for herself, and Kasun again, Kasun and Shehani again, Shehani and Kasun. And now we are getting another instance. Gunapal becomes a spouse for himself. Gunapal and Gunavati are a married couple. And Gunavati and Gunapala, this relationship can be stopped since this is a symmetric relationships, and Gunavati becomes a spouse for herself. So there's a mechanism to avoid these kind of repetitive, repeating the same answer again and again. I will let you know it later. And then we have to check this wife relationship. Let's see, W and husband who list down the husband and wife couples. Rani again. There must be something wrong. It gives W equals H. That means this time Rani has become a husband. Let's examine how that happens. It is because of this, I think, spouse. Here we define if a person has a shared child, then they will be a spouse. This would be spouse. So this wife, this inferencing must be coming from this what we call this spouse relationship. So let's examine what's wrong with that. Shehani and Kasun, this time it gives correct answer. Shehani is a female person. And again, Shehani becomes this must be coming from this spouse relationship. Spouse means this is somewhat a two-way. Two-way means it can be the same person can be the spouse for the other person in two ways. So again, it gives is the correct answer. Gunavati and Gunapala are their wife and husband, and Gunavati becomes so. Shall we do what we can do with? So we will comment this and I uncomment this one, okay, and I comment this one as well, this one as well, and define the husband relationship below there. Who is a husband? Since we have defined the wife relationship, who is the husband? The inverse of wife. Inverse of wife means wife, husband. And this guy, husband, must be a male person. That is already been checked above, checked before at the wife relationship, but better to double check, okay? Then shall we try to recompile and check whether still it gives some inappropriate answers. Okay. Then it's hard to fish the last one, so let's check with we check with this wife relationship, okay? Wife which W. I have used capital W. Not simple WH. Wife Shehani Kasun. Shehani Kasun. Shehani Kasun. Shehani Kasun. Shehani Kasun. It seems we have trapped into a loop kind of a thing. Okay. It's recursive because this Prolog uses the recursion. So we have trapped into a never-ending loop kind of a thing. So how can we rectify this? Resolve this issue? How this is from where this is coming? Here. Okay, husband, and we have husband. This is how the recursion occurs. That means we should already have the husband relationship at least in data form. Here we have the husband. Okay, husband. It is no need to define now. That means it's already there. That means we have only this information. Shall we add one more statement here? Husband who is Gunapala. Gunapala is the husband of Gunavati. Okay. Then shall we try again? Okay. Okay, Shehani Kasun, Gunavati Gunapala. Problem solved. You see? So be very careful when you are using recursive programs or programming, means writing codes for the and using the recalling these recursive functions, calling the recursive functions by passing parameters. That can be very hard to diagnosis. That means if you don't, if you are not an expert developer, if you don't know how the back end is working of this particular software piece or software artifact, so it will be very difficult. So I just figured out this what's going on instantly just because I have been doing AI programming for 10-15 years. So if you have done this alone, maybe it will be very difficult to figure out what's going on. That means we have what we call the dry run. That means it's called dry run. That means we have to design the working algorithm using the pen with a piece of paper. No computing tools are provided. So we have to we had to write the source code of this the Prolog SWA Prolog program by our hand during our postgraduate. That expertise has helped me to easily recognize some malfunctioning of this kind of programming context and easily take any necessary precautions to avoid such not actions to rectify such misbehavior. So now we were happy. Now exactly no repetitions, no repeating or no trapping into a never-ending loop. Very precisely that lists down the only two couples, Shehan and Kasun, and Gunavati and Gunapala. Now we can test this what we call the son relationship is the father or mother son. Am I using capital S? No. S means a son. List down means the sons of son and the parent. Kasun and Rani. Kasun is a son of Rani. Then Shanuka is a son of Kasun, and Shanuka is a son of Shehani. That's all. Okay. If you don't need the name of the parents, don't worry about the name of the parent. You can use this underscore. Then Kasun, Shanuka, that's all. Shanuka becomes a son for 2 times for his both parents. Then we can test this what we call sister is, and this can be any person, X. Okay. Sanuki becomes a sister of Shanuka, and Sanuki becomes the sister to herself, and Sanuki again Shanuka, Sanuki. That's okay. According to this relationship, only according to the knowledge we have compiled, we find only one sister, and brother also. Kasun becomes the brother for Kasun becomes a brother for himself. Shanuka becomes a brother for himself, and Shanuka becomes a brother for Sanuki, and again Shanuka, uh, Shanuka and Sanuki are the brothers and sisters. So we can just check the what we call the in-law relationships we have uh, developed today. So brother-in-law, bro-in-law, this can be anybody. Hasun and Shehani are brother-in-law, and Hasun is the brother-in-law of Shehani. We have to check that. Okay, sometimes this gives some fancy answers and in the unacceptable answers. You have to check out that Hasun is claiming as Shehani's brother-in-law. That means Shehani's husband's brother. Or the other one, Kasun's brother. Let's check out. Okay, Kasun. Okay, Kasun parent. Kasun's parent. Kasun is the parent of Shanuka. Where this is coming from? We had figured out the husband and wife relationship first of all. Kasun and Shehani. Kasun and Shehani are husband and wife. So there's a severe mistake. Kasun and Shehani are the married couple. So let's examine what's wrong with our definition. Brother-in-law, H and W, sister of B, male B. So we have two relationships. So we will comment one of them and let's examine, because that can backfire. Oh, that means they may be confusing. Okay, bro-in-law, false. This time it says no brother-in-law relationships found. Then this must be correct because we haven't introduced such people. Okay. That means we haven't introduced the married couple and their siblings. That means what can we do? So we can introduce, we should introduce a person. Okay, Kasun and Shehani are married, Kunapala and Kunamati are married. So we need to introduce the brother of Kasun. Here it is missing. We need to introduce the brother of Kasun. That means Kasun's parents must have another male child, another son. So Kasun's, where Kasun becomes a child. Okay, Rani has another son called Susan. Kasun Susan. Okay, now Rani has two children, two male persons Then we need to introduce the define the male gender of this person Susan as well. Okay. Susan. Now Rani got two. So Rani is the mother of Kasun, and this Rani got now Kasun. In addition to Kasun, she got another son called, son means the male son called Susan. Now Susan, Kasun has a what? Kasun has a brother. Kasun has a brother. So according to our brother-in-law relationship, brother-in-law relationship, wife, brother of husband. So this is the other relation, other one. Okay, we have introduced the other way. So, the male party is having a brother. So B is the brother of H. Okay, so then we can close this and we can open up this again. And I'm calling these again. Now Kasun and Shehania again is again misinterpreted, no? The Susan and Shehan, that is correct, but that is the correct answer, but we are getting some wrong answer. That is the Kasun and Shehan, who are the married couple, are being introduced as, are being recognized as the brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So we, how this false information is coming? These Kasun and Shehan. So this is acceptable because this wife relationship, that is also, that is correct. Brother, this must be coming from here. Brother relationship is must have a same parents. Okay, it's okay. And husband, Shian, wife. Is it confusing? Husband, X and Y. Sunan Shehani, Gunapal and Gunavati. That is correct. Wife and Y. Shehani and Kasun, Gunavati and Gunapal. That is correct. Okay, how these Kasun and Shehani are interpreted as these brother-in-laws. So in this scenario, according to this one, this is inherited from, so B is the, in this case, the Susan, that's the correct answer. Okay, okay, that is correct. W is the Shehani, that is also correct. Okay, wife, Shehani becomes a wife of H, that means Kasun in this scenario. And these Kasun means again H, and B is the brother of H, or the, what we call the Kasun in this scenario, and B is the male person. So shall we have we swapped these parameters of these things? Brother, BH, brother, what is the relationship of brother? They must be having the same parent, and the person who is claiming to be a brother must be a male person. It seems to be correct. What's wrong here then? Wife, which male B, and W. Shall we replace? Sorry, shall we check with the other relationship? So it shouldn't give us the correct answers because we have defined the brother, introduced the brother-in-law from the husband's side. So, in-law false because that means we haven't introduced any brother-in-law from the wife's side. So here we have to sort out the problem. Okay. Wife of which here what is missing here? W wife. Shall we replace the husband relationship here? Check with the what's happening. Okay. Sun Shehani. Again it gives us, so that must be something wrong with this statement, the way we have defined the husband and wife relationship. Wife, here we have direct knowledge of this husband, and we have swapped this male H, female W. I don't see any confusing statement here. So it's very hard to imagine what's going on here. So we use this one. Husband relationship we have already defined, I think. Okay. Again, it gives Kasun and Shehani. I can't understand what's going on here. There must be wrong with the way that we have defined. Okay. Let me go through the program carefully and figure out the mistake we have done here. Definitely it should be something wrong with the rules that we have defined. Now we are running out of the time and I am in a very tired mode. I started my duties by 6 a.m. with preparing lecture notes and still being continued. Now it is 13 hours. I'm in a very tired mode. So actually I'm not in a position to figure out the sensitive mistake I have done. So let me sort out the problem by the next day, that once you come to the university. So that means today is the last online practical that we are having. Tomorrow evening you have the for some people you have the, what we call the parallel and distributed computing. That will be the last online lecture we are having for this semester. So I assume you got something last moment. You got some confused. Sorry for that. I will sort out that. I think you heard me and you saw my exercises. And was that okay? That means the audibility and the visibility. Forget about the last minute mistake we have done. Was other things clear? Were other things clear? Okay. And thank you very much for your cooperation and good night and the parallel and distributed computing followers, we will meet tomorrow. Otherwise, for the people who are following only the intelligent systems course module, we will meet at the university. Okay, bye, good night.